origin story of like how Titan Medical Center started, and kind of what took place and how we got to where we're at today, and kind of just give you the background story on some things, so that way you guys don't always just see all the cool, flashy, fun things. You guys, can get to know a little bit more about me and John.
Absolutely. I think it's a good thing to bring this up, because we've been doing this for over 9.5 years now, right? Titan Medical Center, and people always ask us, where did Titan Medical Center come from? How did you guys get into this? So Titan Medical Center is something that we created. We didn't buy into a franchise. We didn't take other people's things and run with it ourselves. There was no outline on this before. There wasn't people like us in the business that were doing what we were doing that we could just look at and emulate or copy or anything like that. We created it with our own blood, sweat, and tears, day in and day out. People forget that stuff, and if you don't believe me, I implore you, just check out our social media pages and go back the 9.5 years to when we started, and you'll see all the different. God, I look at those posts now, I'm like, oh my God, what were we doing?
Gotta do what you gotta do, though,
but,
right?
You can see all these things. So, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? Thanks for joining us for this.
What's up?
So, we're going kind of the origin of how we got here in Titan Medical Center. This is Sharisse's Healthy Lifestyle Soapbox.
Oh yeah, healthy lifestyle. Okay.
It's
I'm sorry for everybody out there that says that I'm annoyed, because I am super annoyed on like so many different levels. It's not even funny, and it's been like building up over X period of time. So I'm like, all right, I think it's time for us to tell obviously the whole story. You guys would probably be sitting here a couple of days, but I can condense the story into something a little bit shorter, let's say, and just kind of tell you guys where we came from and stuff like that, so that way maybe some people can understand a little bit more about me and John and how like I said, how we got here. So all right, so in reference to me specifically, right? So my background before all of this, right? Like when I grew up, and I always tell people all the time. My mom, I'm sure she's gonna watch this later, and I'm sure I won't hear the end of her mouth. But, I don't come from money, right? So my parents lived from paycheck to paycheck. My dad worked 3 jobs. My mom worked her normal 9 to 5. She came home, she'd cook, clean, whatever. And, we went to after school daycare. All of our stuff was funded. I got the free lunch at school. I'm telling you, it was one of those. Like, I literally didn't come from anything, right? So everything I've ever wanted, I've always had to work for. So my very first job, mark my words, outside of babysitting my little brother, because that was easy money. But my very first job was, because I think I was like 14 years old. I don't even think it was legal for them to hire me at the time. And it's actually, I'll put it out there. It's a place called Val's Basket Warehouse, right? And it's in Tampa. And I was like, I'll work for whatever, I'll do whatever, just give me a job, because I really wanted this pair of Nikes. And my dad told me, he's like, I'll provide you with what you need, and whatever you want, you're going to go work for and you're going to get. And I'm like, okay, well then I guess I better go get a job. He's like, I guess you better go get a job. So then I went and got a job. So my very first job was that. And what I was doing at the time, they had me doing, is like, a couple little scanning things here and there. But the biggest job was, and I can't believe, I look back on this, like, I don't even know how this is. I have so many skills, and this is why, So one of the jobs is like breaking down boxes. So like you'd open up the box, you'd have to take everything out of it, because it was this basket warehouse, and they had all these cool little nifty whatevers, and you had to open it up, unsaran wrap everything, put the little price tag ticket thing on it, then go put it on a shelf real quick. Then all these big boxes you had to learn to break down, you had to do them, put them up together, smush them, whatever. Take my little 14-year-old ass to the dumpster and dump them in there, okay? I'm all little, trying to make some money. So that was my first job. Second job was Burger King. Oh, no. That was fun, okay? I was, 15? Maybe, no, I was 15. So second job was Burger King, right? I worked at Burger King. I'm not afraid to say that. That's what I did. That's my story of working, because I'm a hard worker, and this is where it all stems from. So after Burger King, yeah, have it your way. Never, just kidding. So Burger King was the very second job. After that, I was 16 years old. I was still in high school at the time. I did the dual enrollment program, which means that you get to go to some college courses during that time frame. And then I also did OJT, which was on-the-job training. So in my senior year, half of the school day I was supposed to be working at a place. So my third job was Suncoast Ford, and I was a switchboard operator. So I knew how to, run the switchboard. I did so good there. They put me back in the accounting. I did inventory. I did accounting. I did a lot. I learned how to do a lot of different things. So, this is just to kind of show you. And then at the time, right after that, that's when I got into medical assisting. I went to my medical school, and I went to all that other fun stuff and got into all these great things. And my very, very first medical assisting job ever, I think I was 17 turning 18. So yes, I was a young buck. And I worked at North Pinellas Children's Medical Center in Palm Harbor as a medical assistant for 13 doctors. So that's where kind of like my basic origin story comes from, because I feel like people should understand that, it's built in my blood to work. I like to work. I like to be successful, hence the reason when I met my amazing husband, and he's great, so he's super old school. And he's like, okay, I'm going to need a woman that can cook and clean. I'm sure I can cook and clean, because now I know how to cook. Thank you, John. And I do know how to clean. Thank you, Mom. But I can't say that I would say, listen, I'm not staying home to do this stuff, because unfortunately my skill set is just way too great to just waste inside the house scrubbing a toilet bowl. So, off we go, boom, boom, bam. Worked in the medical field for many, 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 many years. I've done everything you can possibly think of and worked in almost every single specialty practice. And then boom, we fast forward to, the Titan days. I was working at this doctor's office at the time, and this was just, this was fate.
I think it's important to talk about some of the different practices you were in. So, you start out at the pediatrician, basically, Kids North Pinellas. And then nephrology was a big one in there. I mean,
after that was more implant me's. That was a good one because I did rounds at different places, where I was able to go work for internal medicine. I worked for OBGYN. I worked for primary care. I worked in dermatology, so I worked at Monticello's office. That was great. I've worked in every practice almost, and then after that, I think I want to say, dialysis and nephrology. I worked in that for a while.
So it's kidneys, if you guys don't know.
Yep, worked in that for a while. I've pretty much maxed out all my different places I could work at. Well, because I get bored very easily. So once I learned the whole entire kit and caboodle, and I felt like there was nothing else I could learn, and I mastered it. I was like, you know what, I got to do something different. That's when I taught the medical assisting program over at Everest University. That was probably one of the most rewarding jobs that I ever had. So that was a great job. So I have about, I want to say, this makes me sound so old, but I have about 15 or 16 years of medical experience, right? So, that makes life easy, when you want to go open a clinic, because at the time I'm telling him, I'm like, hey, listen, half of these patients, right, they would come in, right, and we'd be rooming them or working them up or doing whatever we're going to do. If we're going to, let's just say we're going to numb them up for we're going to remove a mole or whatever it was going to be, right? So, they're talking to you as you're kind of, working them up, whatever it might be. And they're telling you, oh man, I really wish that the doctor would have talked to me about this. And they had already left the room. I only got to talk to the doctor for 1 minute. Oh, I kind of feel like they rushed me through my visit, or the doctor doesn't really care about me, or whatever it might be, right? And they're complaining about the patient care and the bedside manner. That's a huge one, and I've been telling John, I'm like, there's got to be a way, which it's going to cut, obviously it's here now, concierge medicine. Right. There's got to be a way for these people to feel better, to feel like people actually care, because genuinely I care. And I wouldn't be in the medical field for as long as I've been if I didn't genuinely actually give a shit. So I mean, I truly care. I care about people. I like most of the people. I can't say I like everybody because I'd be lying to you, but that's kind of background on that portion. So at the time I was doing a management position in a private doctor's office, and long story short, I leave there, I'm going on my lunch break, I get in my car real quick, this is in a parking lot, and I put it into reverse, this Cadillac, put it into reverse, boom, get hit by a doctor that's on call, that was obviously not paying attention, speeding in a parking lot, going 50 going 50 in a parking lot, totaled my Cadillac. The guy took the whole half of the car, got off the car, and was on the other side of the parking lot.
The front bumper was gone.
The back.
Back bumper.
The back. It was on the other side of the parking lot.
Bumper, that's all I remember.
So, I mean, after that, you know, I was in a sling. I had a partial dislocation in my jaw. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I'm telling you, even when we called the cops to say that there was an accident, people were like, okay, yeah. We'll be there when we get there. Because it's just a parking lot. I'm sure it's just a fender bender. Yeah. They show up and it's like, what happened here? So, you know, that kind of started this, you know, this had to be, everything happens for a reason. You know, I truly do believe that. Even in the worst case scenarios, when really bad things happen, I gotta say, like, I'm like, okay, there's gotta be a reason this is happening, you know, because I don't do bad things to people, so I shouldn't be getting some crazy karma coming back to me now. So, you know, I'm like, all right, so I'm in the sling, you know, I have to do all these doctor's appointments. My doctor's office, ironically, they wouldn't let me come back to work because the guy that hit me was their friend. So, you know, obviously if we're going through this whole long kit and caboodle of dancing of who's going to be paying the bill and who's going to be covering all this stuff, you know, they're going to want 100% clearance, and unfortunately they wouldn't give me 100% clearance because I had my arm in a sling. Okay? Yep. So there was that, you know, and then so I started hanging out with John because that's always fun. And,
always following me, right?
So this thing just fell in our lap, right? So fast forward, we discuss how there's people that were doing that. I guess there were people that were trying to do this business, but we were doing it very, very, very wrong.
So when we seen it, right? So I was working with doctors, athletes, and I was putting like it wasn't Titan at the time. It was calling their name. We were putting this thing together, right? It was originally called Atlas Medical Group. That was our original name.
So glad it was.
We were going to partner with some other guy at this point, and you know that just didn't go well. We had all the information, all the knowledge, all the clientele, and everything like that. And it was just kind of like we asked to do like, hey, listen, like you're gonna do some work here. He was like, oh, I'm just gonna wait to see how things work out.
Wait.
And we're like, wait.
What?
We're talking about we're throwing 100% in this all the time. Like you ain't bringing no money, you ain't bringing no other value. Like what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'll tell you what. You're just gonna wait. You can see how everything goes for yourself. We're gonna go and we'll start our own thing by ourselves. And at that point, the guy's like, well, I want to keep the name Atlas Medical Group. I'm like, okay, keep it.
Go ahead.
I want to keep the logo. And it was like
Go
Atlas holding this, obviously this world and stuff like that on his shoulders. Like, you know, keep that. So,
yeah.
You know, everybody asks, like, you know, where'd the name Titan come from? Well, obviously I'm Greek, and it was my name originally. So I'm thinking about it, and we were thinking we were sitting there in our bedroom. I'll remember to this day.
Oh my God.
We're like, man, like, what are we gonna call ourselves? You know, like, damn, Atlas was our main thing. You know, it was Greek. You know, went to the theme, and we're like, you know what? Atlas was a Titan. So that's where Titan Medical Center came into play.
Everybody always asks that too. Like, why'd your name is Titan?
You know, that's such a good name and all that. I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. And then, you know, the column. Well, you know what? Greeks love columns.
Right.
So that's where the column came into play in the logo. I remember, you know.
We had to design it.
Yeah, we designed
all that
it.
Fun stuff.
Which was, you know, we did something pretty simple, I think. You know, I'm just being honest with you guys because that's all we could do at the time. We had no other resources to start the company.
You guys have to remember. So, like, I had to go on unemployment, a.k.a. had to fight for that because they didn't want to even give it to me. So I had to go on unemployment. So we weren't making that income. And, you know, it wasn't a good time. You know, we definitely faced some really seriously, like, some very bottom times, you know, as far as, you know.
Trials and tribulations went all the way around. I mean, it was really, really hard. And for us, like, we're like, listen, we have a $2,000 tax refund check. We've never seen any tax refund anymore, but at that point we did, and we're like, man, like, what are we gonna do? Are we really gonna do this?
I was so scared too, because $2,000, honestly, $2,000.
That's a lot of money.
That, I mean, to anybody, it's still a lot of money. Okay, but back then, like, I mean, listen, remember, I was like, I mean, I was that girl that was going to AmScott. I ain't gonna lie. And AmScott, man, they get you good. Because you're just coming back to pay the money again, to go back in the stupid wheel of paying more money. So, thank you for getting me out of that.
She never went to that damn AmScott with me. I found this out.
This is beforehand.
When she was dating me.
Listen, I had my ego, and I'm like, listen, I got my own money. I don't need your money. So, yeah, don't worry about it.
So I found out about this. I'm like, you're never doing this again. And, you know, it's just what it is. So, whatever, you know, when you're having to go to AmScot, they get you in that cycle. They want to lend you money. So at that point, they can accrue the interest on you. You're in that forever going cycle, and you're always going to owe them money no matter what, you know. So it's just a thing. Now, some people really need that to get by or survive. I totally understand. But, you know, if you don't and everything, don't get in that situation.
This is it was like a do or die moment, right?
It was do or die.
Do or die. It was all in, all out. And I'm like, all right, I'm like, John, I'm telling you, if this doesn't go right, we are screwed.
We really didn't have a plan B. You know, that's hard.
Yeah.
Because even nowadays, like, I'm all about preparing and what's plan B going to be just in case something goes wrong or something goes south. Because most of the time, nothing ever works out like you plan it. You plan it in your head, you have it on paper.
So true.
You put all this time and effort into it, and boom, curveball hits you. And they're like, oh, shoot, what do I do now? You know, I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah.
You know, I was prepared to go this way, but it goes, you know, instead of right, it goes left. And you're just like, oh, man, what do I do now? So at that point, you know.
Open up the phone line.
Man, we got a cell phone.
Got a cell phone, got the business line. We opened up the LLC. I'll never forget that. That was in Panera. I mean, you know, we did that. And then, you know, literally, we didn't have anywhere where we didn't have a place to go to see patients because we couldn't afford rent. You know, because usually with rent, you're going to have to put down first, last, and security,
right? You got to sign a lease, the whole
I mean,
nine.
we had no money. No money. I don't know how to explain that to people sometimes, but we had no money, okay? So you need money to do things. Unless, I mean, you got to work's the magic, you know? So we had an ophthalmologist that was ever so kind to allow us to use it. There was a back room that he had.
They had a medical suite in back. It was like 2,500 square foot that they weren't using.
Right.
So at that point, you know, they let us use this or rent this per day, and then it was per week. Luckily, we had a physician who's still with us today at that point who was working with us and seeing the patients.
Literally, you like... When I tell you guys, like, okay, this is what I'm trying to explain to you guys, I feel like you guys don't really understand.
Yeah.
So, you know, at the time, we still had, like, this little part-time gig that we did in the nightclub scene, right? So, I mean, that's how we know everybody in the nightclub scene. So, you know, we were doing it a little bit. John was managing some social media stuff for them. He's the marketing guru. You know, I was running the go-go dancers, you know, doing their outfits and all this other fun stuff. So, you know, we literally had to build the business step by step, because usually you get in the business, right? Now that I know, you know, you get into the business and you got to have money for advertising dollars, and you got to, you know, put up advertising somewhere so people know who you are and see you, right? This was literally shaking hands, kissing babies. I mean, you had to literally, it was one patient at a time. We didn't even have the money to afford an EMR system. Back then, that was kind of normal to have paper charts, right?
Paper charts.
So we had paper charts, right?
Oh,
we had the manila folders. We had paper charts. We had the new patient paperwork laid out. We got a healthcare attorney. That's the money we did have to put into that.
Oh, yeah.
Because they do ask for their little deposit or whatever. You know, we have to have a healthcare attorney, so we had that. We had like a little clear bucket where we put the charts into, you know, we held at the office. And I'll never forget that bucket.
Never forget that bucket.
And we just, we paid by the like half day that we could. So let's just say we were, okay, cool, we got our first 5 patients, right? We're going to see these 5 patients on Thursday from, you know, let's just say 2 to 4, 2 to 5, whatever it is. And we had to pay the doctor per hour per patient. I think it was per patient at the time. And we paid whatever it was that we stayed there for, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of like where we started, you know? And then we had to go out and we had to make friends at gyms and all these other fun stuff. So the gyms, right? Super cool people. I mean, one of them, Ed over at Gold's. I mean, I'll never forget him. He's probably the first one that we did it with.
Absolutely.
We had to set up, you know, promotional tables. So, you know, then I'm like, shoot. I'm like, now we got to get promotional items, right?
Yep.
So we could only afford, it was like the super most basic thing. It was like a little black banner Titan thing on top of like a little 6-foot table. Okay, now granted, right? Because remember, we didn't have the money.
I got some of these pictures crazy.
I'm going to show it to you guys one day. I'm telling you, I'll put it up on this thing. So we even like the lead, like, you know, when you, right now you type in your information into an iPad and it goes to this place that collects your email and sends you a cool email once a month, like once a month or week or whatever, right? At this time, we had it on a little brown clipboard this big, and I literally had to cut the sheets, right? And on the sheet, it had name, phone number, email, and I have to write it down. And me and John, we worked the booths ourselves because we couldn't afford promo girls.
Right.
So what did we do? We worked the booth ourselves.
That's right.
So You were literally gonna see us before you walked out of there, and I swear to you not, I'll stand there. I was gonna give you a bag before you left, tell you what we did. I mean, it was just what we had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we had no shame in doing what we needed to do to get where we needed to go. And I'll never forget, just staring at this cell phone that would like ring only a couple times a day to start, and I would just be like, John, are you sure about this? Like, I don't know, John. I don't know. I just, are you sure it's like we're gonna be successful? Like, is this okay? Do you think it's gonna be okay? And he's just like, baby, I'm telling you, one day that phone is never gonna stop ringing. It's never gonna stop ringing. And I was like, at that time, because I don't come from an entrepreneurial background. I come from your 9 to 5 work, make your 40,000, 35,000, whatever it is per year, and make your bills, pay for what you need to pay for, save up a whole year, and then go on vacation. That was what I was taught. I wasn't taught to think outside of the box until I met him. Yeah. And I had to put some trust in him to know that we were going to make it. Like, because I wasn't sure if we were going to make it. And it's scary.
You got to believe in yourself, right? And a lot of people won't believe in you, even at that point in time. A lot of people did not believe in what we were doing, not believe in us.
Nobody believed in us.
And, I mean,
I'm going to say it, guys. I don't care, because you guys know that I'm straight up.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, nobody believed in us.
Nobody did.
I love you guys, Mom, Papu, Yaya.
Yeah.
But not even our parents believed in us.
Yeah.
Nobody did. So we had to believe in each other.
Yeah. Nobody was there for us. And I think our biggest strength was me and her together. Yeah. Usually entrepreneurs, they have to start by themselves, and at that point they build everything by themselves. Some people have been, lucky, like Elon Musk. He had his brother, and like you have some support there. But yeah, I mean, when everybody's telling you no, it's not going to work,
or you guys are crazy.
You guys are crazy, or you guys should be doing something else. You have a 2-year-old at home you guys have to worry about.
Yeah,
this doesn't work.
You guys have lost your mind.
At that point, like I knew for sure at that point that, because I could see it back then. There's certain things that, I say I could see, right? And I can see it working out to the best, and
so true.
It's going to be very successful. And there's a couple of things where I've seen that, and I've seen the light. If I can't see it, it's hard for me to get 100% behind it. But at that point, I seen it. And so I knew we were going to be able to help people in a way that nobody was really helping people at that time.
Now all of a sudden it's like, it was like shunned back then.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's world acceptance. Everybody and their mom wants to be on hormone replacement, right?
Yeah, HRT is, it's definitely came to the forefront. A lot more people are obviously educated in this, and a lot of people are doing it. There's a lot of medical providers out there doing it, and some are doing it for the wrong reasons. It's all about money to them. It shouldn't be. It's about health and getting people the best results, long-term results, not even short-term results. But that was the one thing that we've seen. We've seen that, we could definitely help people in a way that people were not helping other people. We could optimize and help people feel better daily that weren't being able to even get treated like this. Because a lot of people, they go to their doctor, they don't, they tell their doctor what's wrong, and the doctor really doesn't help them. He tells them, hey, this is a part of aging.
They don't even listen. They're not even listening, like they don't even care. And that's a big thing that we did too, is we created relationships with our patients. Right. Like personal relationships. And sometimes I hear it now, like now, we've been open almost 10 years. And like, there was one guy, I can't even. But anyways, there was one guy, and he's like, I just don't understand, sometimes like the fact that that you text your patients, and that, that's so weird. It's for a medical office to text your patients. Well, actually, no, it's actually very convenient to be able to text your doctor's office and get what you're looking for in a jiffy.
This is another added provided service that Titan did. And this is how we started off 9.5 years ago. Now you're seeing all these platforms out there where people are trying to take advantage of this, especially because when COVID hit, that's all you could do is virtual this, virtual that. We were so far ahead of the game and doing and providing these services. Even now to this point, when you talk about text messaging, you're always going to get a personalized text from us, right? From somebody that's real live. There's no bots.
There's no bots.
There's no mass text messaging.
There's no bots.
So every month, when we're filling thousands and thousands of patients are following up every month, every 28 days, or people have problems, they're talking to a real live person. Yeah. And that's a lot more on us. Like, even that, like, people want to talk about the glitz and glam, but they have no idea what happens in the background, in the back scene of things, and
you guys have no idea. So like, we were in that office in Trinity. You know, we did the Chamber of Commerce thing where we got to open.
The ribbon cutting.
And listen, me and John, we did every job. You know, so like, you know, front desk, you know, guess what? Front desk. Hi, I'm Sharisse. Nice to meet you. So yeah, we're gonna check you in. Whatever. Okay, cool. So then pulling back into the room. Okay, hi, I'm Sharisse. I'm gonna do your vital signs. Yep, we're gonna work you up. So we do all that. Then the doctor come in, do his doctor thing. At the end, here I am again. Hi, I'm Sharisse. Yep, we're just gonna check you out. Okay, we're gonna make sure we follow up with you in about 30 days or so, and then 30 days later, hi, I'm Sharisse, just following up with you again. I should have just at least called myself at least Amanda, Stephanie, you know, and made a couple names. You know, I was wearing a couple hats. I might as well have been, you know, at least a couple names or something. You know, I never really liked the name Sharisse anyway. But, you know, it was just us. He did everything. All the advertising. He still does. We still run to this day, 9 years later. I'm going to say it. And guys, please do not take advantage of this on Instagram. Okay? Me and John are the only people that have access to Instagram for Titan Medical. We answer every single message to this day. 9 years later, we have not hired anybody to go in there and to answer messages for us. Same thing with the text messages. I see every single text message from every single patient. Up until this day, I see every single message. Every answer that goes out, I see everything, right? So we're in the Trinity office. Boom, boom, boom. So what happens? They kick us out.
We're finally
oh my God, this is terrible.
This always happens to us. So listen, once we think things are starting to really, you know, smooth out, get going, boom, that's when the curveball hits, right?
I'm like, look, we filled this
not expecting it.
We filled this whole bucket, this clear bucket you get from Staples. We filled it all up with these, like, I want to say it fit about 50 charts. And I'm like, oh my God, we have 50 patients. This is so cool. I know we can do this. Like, and I'm really starting to believe in it. I'm like, and they like us. And, you know, we can do this, you know. We could really do this. I really think it's doable. And we were just starting to pick up a little momentum. And I think we were in there like 2 half days a week. And, you know, it was like, yes, we can do this, right? Now, granted, you guys have to remember, we're still starting the business, and it's not like we were making tons of money with these orders coming in, because it was one hand is kind of washing the other. You know, we really just had to take that money to pay the doctor, and then take that money to go and pay where we're renting from for that little bit of time frame, and then obviously, hopefully put a little bit of food on the table for our kid, and then, you know, I think we were behind on our mortgage payment too at some point, but, you know, try to catch up on the mortgage payment. So we've always talked about wanting to go to Tampa, right? And then boom.
So our first year, obviously, we're in that Trinity area, and like everybody had to fly in from the airports. They were flying in and driving 45 minutes to Trinity. Our Tampa patient were driving 30, 45 minutes to get there. So at that point, we got hit with this right out of left field that, hey, listen, guys, we're going to have to use that back office suite from now on.
I think I cried for like 2 days.
You guys got 30 days to get out. Like,
I think I cried for like
30 days. Like, 30 days to get out? Like, and I'm thinking in my mind, because I'm a business guy, I'm like, man, we got to find a place. And it's not just find a place. It's real easy. Oh, you guys just go find a place. You guys got 30 days to do it. No.
Guys.
You got to find a place, sign a lease, make sure the build out or it looks all right inside where it makes some sense to how things are going to run through there, right? Because you have to have some sort of flow, too, for a medical office. Right. It's not just, you know, you have administrative offices and that's
you just can't walk in and have a bunch of little cubicles.
I mean, literally, guys. So we're like, all right, so we got to make the move to Tampa. Hi to everybody out there. Thanks for supporting us. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, love you guys, too.
If you have any questions, and I've seen there was a couple about medical questions, leave them to the end. We'll go back and we'll answer all these questions for you guys. All right, so basically at that point, they're like, yeah, you got 30 days. So I'm like, oh, 30 days. I'm like, oh, this is great. So we got to find a place in Tampa. So we start looking. We're like, you know, we didn't have no realtor at the time. I remember, I don't even know how we found places, but we had somebody, as far as that goes, we finally got in contact with, put us in somebody contact, and they started showing us a couple locations. We're like, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. Time's ticking.
It's ticking.
Plus, we're still up seeing patients and flowing medical style, right?
Yeah, so we're answering the cell phone, like, while we're on the road.
Oh, my God.
You know, he's driving, like, I'm on the road, like, thank you for calling Titan Medical Center. This is Sharisse. How can I help you?
Yes.
And we're talking to people on the phone, trying to manage of where in the hell are we going to run the office from now? Because we're taking in new calls. What are we going to do?
Yeah. So
terrible.
We're like, oh, man. So literally we found a place in Tampa that was really nice. It was off Northwest Shore. Yep. You know, it was like, I think it was like, I don't know. I want to say it was like
15.
was it 50? I thought it was 1,800 square foot or something like that.
Just enough. Who cares?
Just enough. Like, they built us a wall in a week, so we could separate the lobby portion to the medical consultation rooms in back. So it was really nuts. And I think we only had 3 at the time, right?
Yeah.
It was 3.
Yeah.
So, it was really hard, and at that point.
Remember, you don't just get this place now.
Yeah.
Right? You got to do the whole
they
first,
do a background check on you, credit.
Not only that, you have to furnish the place. The place is a big shelf.
This is another thing.
You have to furnish the place, right? So legit, guys, I'm not even kidding to you. So I, obviously I'll measure tape measure everything. I'm like, we got to get some, we have to at least have a couch. We have to have one desk. This minimum, right? We did massage tables as the doctor bed because that's all we could afford at the time. And 2 little basic chairs in there, right? Because that's all we could afford at the time. And so I'm literally in canes, right? Yeah. I'm literally in canes, right? And I'm on the phone, talking to a patient, going trying to go through their stuff. Yep. And I'm like, can you give me 1 moment, please? And I put him on hold and I'm like, okay, let me just measure this real quick. I'm like, yeah, this'll work. And he's like, are you sure you want this? I'm like, I don't even care. Just pick something out. I'm like, it matches. Great. Just put it in the office. Who cares? That's how we got into the Tampa. We wanted to come to Tampa. So, we were pushed into coming to Tampa. Yep. That was a terrible experience. Yep. I don't want to do it again.
So it always happens like that with us,
Terrible.
Everybody hates change and fights change. So at that point, for us anyway, every time a door has closed and we've thought, man, this is like a nail in the coffin type situation.
Oh no, the business is over.
It's always opened a way better door when we walk through it. So that was a game changer for us as far as that goes. And now remember, we didn't have any investors, no angel investors, no money as far as that goes. Everything we did came from what we produced. Yep. So everybody out there that sees glitz and glam, they think that's what Titan Medical Center is now. That's really not. We're still putting in a ton of hard work. And back then, that was just one step. Mm-hmm. We had I think we had a 3-year lease in that place.
Yep. We decided 3-year lease. I'm like, I don't even know if we're going to be able to have business for 3 years.
Right. And that's...
We're going to have enough money to pay... Are we going to have enough money to pay the rent? I'm asking him because I'm like, listen, he did all the business stuff. Yeah. I'm like, listen, I hope you got this all squared up because I'm like, we live in Land O'Lakes. We're going to have to drive here. I'm like...
we lived in Trinity back then.
Yeah, Trinity. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't, how are we going to do this? Are you sure we can do this? And he's like, I'm telling you, Sharisse, we can do it. I'm telling you we can do it. I was always the negative Nancy. I still am to this day. But I was always negative Nancy. I was like, oh my God, we can't do this. We can't do this. We can't do this. So just one thing after the other, but to this, every single day. I want to remind you, for 9 years, every single day, we have worked. Yeah. Every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yep. Every single day we've worked. Yep. Even if we went on vacation, thank goodness with our child for once, I still worked. Absolutely. Still bust open my laptop. Still answering emails. Still making sure the office was running the way that it should. Every single day.
Still running social media. Still doing all that.
Every single day.
It never stops.
Every single day. By now, you would think we would have hired a whole damn team to run the social media. Yeah. Not to say that there's not a lot of girls in the office because I got my A team here. Thank you for that. Thank you for my girls. Absolutely. But we still are growing. So, it's got to be right. And, because we put blood, sweat, and tears into this, right? It's hard for me to want to allow franchises to happen, because we weren't in it for just the money. Right. The money was a byproduct by doing what we need to do the right way. Right. And we did everything by the book. Yep. We didn't go in any gray areas. We didn't service people with more money to give them what they wanted just because they wanted it. We were strict. We're still strict. That is how we ran the business. And it's fast forward through all these different things that we had to go through because, there was way more trials and tribulations. Now we've made it to this amazing, beautiful building in Channelside, right? Mm-hmm. It's 10,000 square feet altogether. Yep. All the way through. Yep. 10,000 square feet, we've done well for ourselves, thank goodness. But I feel like, it's gotten to that point, and this sucks because, I told you guys that I didn't grow up with any money, right? Yep. So when I was growing up, people that were around me, and I'm sure people that will watch this video, people that were around me, they were around me because they wanted to be around me. I didn't have anything for you. I didn't have 4-wheelers at my house. I didn't have any cool PlayStation games for you to come and play. day. I didn't have nothing. I could go play some basketball with you down at the Boys and Girls Club, but the rec center, whatever it is. But all I had to give was myself. So to be in the position that I am today, sometimes I would be lying to you. I don't feel good. Like sometimes people make me not feel good. And it's because, I'm like, okay, why are you around? Like, what do you want? Because I've never thought that way. But as we've grown, now I have had to be forced my hand to think that way. Yeah. And obviously I'm sure we've been through, our stories of people that we thought were close to us that just wanted to be around us, take advantage of whatever it was they could get, It is so true. Like the more successful you get, like the less friends you have, the less people you surround yourself with. I mean, I couldn't imagine if I didn't have John, like, I would be alone.
Absolutely.
I would be alone. Oh, cool. I have great amount of money. I'm so successful. Cool. But you're like by yourself because, once you get up there, you have to start thinking like, why are these people around? Right. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, I would be lying to you if I told you that I didn't look at my car downstairs before I got in it sometimes just to be like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out today. This and this is happening. I'm so mad. This is going on. This patient's not missing his package. And it stresses me out when you guys are mad or you guys are upset. And that's why I'm like on it all day. Just like that, all day. And all people see sometimes is just the glitz and glamour. Like, oh, cool. Yeah, they got a cool car. Oh, cool. They're doing these events. Oh, cool. They're out at this one place jumping around having a good old time. Well, thank God. I'm glad I could jump around for 3 hours and listen to some Tiesto. Yeah. I need to decompress my brain before it explodes.
It's good for mental health, okay? You gotta have mental health along with physical health.
I'm literally gonna explode.
Absolutely.
But it's like, I don't feel like people understand the origin of the story or where we come from. People that have known us forever kind of know the story. We didn't really tell people what we were going through at the time because that's our personal business.
Right.
Of like, we were out at the club like doing our little side club gig. Nobody knew what we were going through at the time, that we were struggling for money or whatever it was. We just played along and did what we got to do, go home, start it the next day, do what you got to do, So you start out with, manila folders and a bucket and a cell phone and turn it into the business that it is today, where we have thousands and hundreds of thousands of patients, and try to keep up, obviously, with the same customer service that we started with, because that's most important to us, right?
Got to keep standards.
That's why I'm involved in the day-to-day operations, to make sure that the standards are kept up to. And it's not easy, guys. Like I tell John all the time, I'm like, it's a lot of pressure, like, on us. And, John, he doesn't complain, really, But, I don't really bitch about it. But, it pisses me off because it's like, okay, so you get successful, right? You work your ass off, right? So then what do you do? What do you do? Like, do you just sit there? You're not allowed to go? You can't go on a vacation? No? Is that bad? Can you go get a nicer car? Because I think at the time I was driving a Malibu. Yeah. I've always paid for all my own vehicles. I've always worked my ass off. Can I go get a nicer car after saving for about 5 or 6 years?
Yeah.
Am I not allowed to do that either? I just want to know what is right and what's wrong for when you have worked your ass off, or say there's some of you guys out there. Let's just say that you're like a regular person, you don't even own a business, right? And you go to work from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you grind, right? You grind. You grind for years, right? The people that own the business, they give you raises, you put it away. They give you a bonus here or there, you put it away. Every little bit you get, you're like, hey, listen, you know what? Out of every paycheck, I'm gonna put $200 away because I want to buy a Mercedes in 3 years, right? So you put it away. You put it away. So what do you do in 3 years? If you say, oh, listen, I met this goal, I saved, we did it, I worked my ass off, cool, I'm gonna go get that car I wanted, or I'm gonna go get that whatever I wanted, whatever you wanted to get. It could have been anything. You reward yourself with whatever it might be. So it's like, I just want to figure out, like, what is the right and what is the wrong.
There's never going to be right or wrong, just with people out there. It just is what it is, especially in the age that we're at. People, I don't care what it is, they're always going to have a downside to something. Doesn't matter what the topic is. There's always going to be a right and a wrong, and people will be in between there and just commenting left or right. So, at that point, I think to a certain extent, like, you can't care about what everybody thinks. Obviously, for us, we want everybody to like us. We want, want to do right by everybody out there. But some people it doesn't matter if you go the extra mile or do these different things. There's still going to be unaccepting of who you are or what you're doing. So it is what it is. I mean,
and it takes everything. It does. I mean, I'm not really past it. And it takes. I'm telling you, it's super annoying. And especially for me, if somebody doesn't come from anything, and it's like, well, I mean, I'm gonna work. Like, I'm gonna, I bust my ass every day. Like, I have to have some sort of, like, everybody has a dream or an end goals, right? Like, there's got to be an end goal somewhere, right? As of right now, I'll be totally honest with you, because I love what I do. Like, I am in love with my job, right? I am in love with my job. I love what I do. I love our patients. 95% of you. I love our patients, and I don't mind. And as of right now, there really isn't like an end goal for me, like to, like, I'm going to do this and then go sell off the company or do whatever it might be, right? Because I do think in the moment, I think in the moment. I love what I do. I don't mind working. I'm a workaholic. It is what it is, and I don't mind, but it just, sometimes it bothers me a little bit.
People should have goals out there, right? And the whole point is to achieve that goal. So if the goal is, hey, listen, I want to buy a house,
right, or buy a home,
you're working towards that goal, and that's the motivation to it. It will help you mentally, and then once you achieve that goal, what's the next goal? There should always be some sort of progression in life, and that's that's our motto, right? That's definitely my motto. It's always progression. Where are we going to next, right? That doesn't mean we're not humbled and we're not satisfied for what we have. But if you're just going to be complacent in life, it's like dying. If you're not moving forward, you're dying. If you're moving backwards, you're dying. So
you said this to me a whole lot.
You have to keep moving forward. And then the other portion of this is that, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it or saying it, or it is what it is. It's so true. Like, and what we do, we make it look really easy.
We make it look really easy.
It's not easy. A lot of people have definitely tried to knock us off and try to copycat some of the different things, and they find out it's not that easy. Yeah. So, it's a good thing, that we're making it look like that.
Listen, you're going to have, listen, for anybody out there that does want to open their business or does want to do something or whatever it might be, listen, if you guys have the drive and the motivation and your heart is in it, I mean, listen, there's days I will stay up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because I got to make sure that everything's going to run right the next day. Yeah. I have to do it. No one's going to do it for me. Yeah. Even when I had COVID, I could barely breathe, or walk for that matter. I still had my laptop in front of me with a nebulizer and taking my dexamethasone every 2 hours to make sure I don't die, and writing people back on the text messages. Because I'm dedicated, so like I want people to know like where we come from and like that whatever we have now, it wasn't just handed to us on like a nice little cute silver platter. Mommy and daddy didn't give us any money to open our business and, make it nice and fluffy, to get where we're at today. Because nothing has been easy to get where we're at today.
Somebody told me the other day, like, hey man, like, I'm self-made. I made these moves and stuff like that. I'm like, wow. I'm like, how'd you start this company? Like, if you're like, like start all by yourself, like, how did you like buy this company? Like, I got a loan from my dad for $3 million, but I paid him back interest.
Must be nice.
Damn. I mean, that's a pretty big loan to get. Even if you pay back the interest, that's a huge loan to get. Somebody starting off in business right away is not going to get a loan like that. I'm just being honest with you guys.
For sure.
It doesn't matter. Like, you got to have some sort of, financial credibility with banks and stuff like that, collateral and all these good things. Credit, all these things we've learned, because everything that we've done to this point, we've had to learn.
Yeah.
Whether it's a hard lesson or an easy lesson, we've had to learn.
We had some hard lessons, man.
And we've definitely had some hard lessons. We've definitely had some bumps in the road.
You gotta take the, take the rolls, take the punches. You got to have that thick skin. I'm telling you. Even when I hire people here, I'm like, man, you better have thick skin to work here because I'm not taking any less.
You know, and
we don't want any less in here. You got to be top of the line.
That's right.
And you have got to want to work.
That's right.
I want to be surrounded by people that are like me.
Yep.
They want to work. They want more in life,
yep.
and they're not just satisfied with just this.
Yep. The clock in, clock out thing is not going to work for you guys.
It's just, some
people are like that. Like they clock in for the job, they clock out, and then they go home, and that's what it is. They'll clock in. So they don't want any more, I guess. Or if they do, they're not putting their best foot forward to try to achieve that or get what they want. It's just they're complacent, I guess, to what they are.
It just, I had to tell that literally is like 20% of the business of what we really had to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure me and John worked every single event for about 5 or 6 years.
For sure. And then we go to the majority of events.
We still go to the event. I mean, but no. We worked the damn booth. It was just me and him because we didn't have money to pay.
No.
So it's like, well, we're gonna have to work it.
Absolutely.
I don't care though. I like talking to people, and so does he.
Dude.
So it wasn't like a punishment to work it. It was fun.
So for us, and thank you guys for all your support and tuning in.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Freedom Light Productions said my wife's on fire, and he's been saying some great things. 1970 Peggy, thank you. I appreciate you too, as well. It's all right to be ambiguous. So that's it. Thank you guys for all tuning in so
Dwayne.
far.
We love you, Dwayne.
Yeah, what's going on out there? So Dwayne, my man, how you doing? Ange Tusa, thank you. We did start from the bottom, and now we are here. So, with that, even our first advertising dollars, right? So we were having to drive from Trinity, Florida to Tampa every day to our office now that we leased.
Oh, my God.
At that point, we're like, damn, what are we going to do? We're having to drive this whole time, right? So, what can we do for advertising? So I'm like, listen, we're going to get a Hummer. We're going to wrap the Hummer, and, it'll be our moving billboard.
Our parents were like, you guys are stupid.
Everybody told us we're stupid, right?
So stupid.
And then we didn't have a lot of money still at that point. So
we didn't really have the money to get that either, but we had to do something.
We go down to the dealership because I found one online. I'm like, all right, cool. And it has 106,000 miles on it, right? And I had to finance it, and, I'm sitting there with the finance guy, and he's asking me what we do and everything. And I'm telling him what we do. He's like, oh, that's really interesting and stuff like that. Oh, he's like, honestly, man, he's like, you're lucky they're even financing it. People would not finance this vehicle over 100,000 miles. And I don't think it's a really smart idea for you to do it either. So it's basically trying to talk us out of buying this vehicle.
I'm like, wow, this guy's talking us out.
So I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, listen, even if we get, let's say, 20, 30,000 miles out of it, maybe more, hopefully. I'm thinking, maybe 100,000, maybe we'll get 200,000. Yeah, so we get this vehicle, they finally finance it to us. We wrap it, and we're driving every day from Trinity to Tampa, which was awesome.
It was good. It was good advertising dollars.
A lot of people don't understand how many views or impressions they get by a vehicle that's really big. And if you're going to do it right. Wrap the whole vehicle, do it like that.
Not everybody's wrapping their vehicles.
No. Yeah, now they are.
Yeah, I mean, we were stupid back then, though.
But, I see these people, and they have the little magnet thing that goes on. It's very small, and they think, oh, that's great, but you can write off some of it and stuff. No, that's really not good. You want everybody, if you're going to do it,
John is in your face kind of guy.
Do it right, because everybody gets to see it then. And then you don't understand how many people used to come up to us at gas stations while we're filling up.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, I really need this. Oh, can I get a card? Can I, and that just leads right into conversation, right? Or people would be behind us driving.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't know that Sharisse is on the inside, the passenger side,
there's a funny
answering
story,
the cell phone. And like, oh, yeah, we just see a vehicle. Oh, that's great. Oh, and then,
well, the one call that we got going down Boy Scout, where this person was like pissed off.
Yeah.
I don't know who's driving your vehicles out there, but I'm telling you right now, you better talk to them because they are all over the road, and this is just ridiculous, and and I'm like, yes, absolutely, we would definitely talk to that representative right away. I hung up the phone, like, John, if you don't drive better right now, swear to God. And I'm like, he's like, I'm trying to check an email. I'm like, just drive the car. Just drive the car. I don't want any more calls from behind us with a pissed off person.
So, the point of that story is it really did pay off to have that vehicle and have it wrapped and stuff like that.
We still have it.
We don't have that one.
Well,
we traded in on a newer one, and basically, because I seen a deal online, I'm like, oh man, I got the new H2 what I did years ago. I got a hell of a steal. I was like, I can't pass this up. I was like, we got to do this, Sharisse. So there's certain things where I see, I'm like, this is a really, really good deal. So we can't pass this up. So went and traded that Hummer in on the new Hummer. finance the rest of that, you know, and that's the way it was. But it's just crazy, you know, how things work out. Because, you know, when you start things like this, when we did, it wasn't the money, right? We were, we're going to become millionaires. We're going to do all this.
Honestly, I never thought we'd even make it to where we're at today.
To hit this level. Now, did I think we'd be successful? Yes. Did I think that what we had was really niche and really going to do something? Yes, I did. But I never thought it would take us to the level that it has, and so quickly. You know, when I talk to other people out there and they ask you, how long have you been in business and what do you do and all this, and I tell them, wow, that's really, really crazy, you know. You know, we've had hedge funds, all kinds of different people that look at our business and stuff like that. Like, man, like, you guys have really, really created something here. And like I tell people, like, Titan Medical Center is just not a medical center. We really are a lifestyle. We're not a brand, we're a lifestyle. Because I think it's a really healthy lifestyle that you have to get in, and that's incorporating everything, not just Titan Medical Center therapies, but, you know, the walk of life, you know, as far as being active, you know, getting a better diet and nutrition plan, getting better sleep, doing healthy, fun activities, or clean activity, you know. So, you know, whether it's throwing the football outside with your loved one, your son, or, you know, having some quality time alone. I mean, that, you know, it is what it is.
Try to extend your life a little bit, and, you know, be happy doing it.
Absolutely.
You know,
but it's just funny because, you know, some people, they don't know us and they didn't know us back then, and they comment on what they see now. You know, and even now, like I said, like, and what she said, like, we're literally working all day, you know, and into the night. And Sharisse does work crazy hours and crazy days. So even Sunday is when she starts, you know. And when I go to bed like 1 o'clock in the morning, she's still up on that damn computer. So she's really putting a lot of time and effort in these different things. And I think that's what it takes. You know?
It takes that. But, you know, I'm telling you guys, it does. Like, it does. It upsets me sometimes when it's like you put in that much work and you put in that much effort. And then not that because I really could give a shit about it being recognized at all. I really don't care. As long as the day runs smooth here, all of the patients are happy, and my employees are not ripping their hair out. As long as that's going like that, I'm okay with working those hours. It's just, you know, sometimes when I feel like people think, I don't know what you think sometimes, but we definitely are not on a beach.
No.
Okay, we're not on a beach.
No.
We're not hanging out, going to wherever I don't know where y'all think I'm at. I'm here all day. If I'm not here doing something all day, I'm at a meeting doing something for here. Or if I'm not doing that, I'm at home doing something for here.
That's so true.
You know, and I really have to, like, you know, just, you know, we've made a lot of sacrifices to get where we're at today.
Absolutely.
I mean, sacrifices, my biggest sacrifice is the time that I have with my son.
Right.
And that's probably the biggest sacrifice. Me and John, I can make that time up all the time, right? But with him, you know, this is another baby for us.
Right.
So this is my second kid. Titan is my second kid. You know, so I had to do this, like, you know, condensed version of, you know, how I feel about it, because I definitely feel like, you know, people just don't know how much work really goes into it and how much work that me and John really do. You know, so, I mean.
Had the comments like, all you guys do is, you know, I don't know what they said. We had one person's, you know, who's still a patient, you know, say like, oh, like, you know, Barbie's doing this, and John's driving around his Lambo or Rolls Royce. I don't know what the hell it was, because I don't have a Rolls Royce.
I wish I had a Rolls Royce.
I don't have a Rolls Royce, guys. You know, just doing this all day. Like, no, that's not what we're doing all day. I'm glad you guys can look at some of the videos and be like, oh, at some of our fun times. Because, listen, that's what it is. We work. And then at that point, like, yeah, some of our events we have fun at. Like, we're real people. We deserve that too.
We're real.
For mental health, we deserve to have some release,
have
some fun, and not be underneath the damn microscope 24/7. Yeah. What do you think we should do? Should we be a little troll in a basement and just be at a bench the whole time and working and just run ourselves in the ground and cause health issues or detriment to ourselves? No, we're going to live our best life too as well. And, you know, if some people don't like that, I'm sorry. And at that point, I think you should, you know, because what we're doing, we don't do anything bad. We really have a good relationship with a lot of different people out there. And I think the majority of people that do know us, like know us for real, will say that we're pretty good people. Yeah. We have open hearts. We help a lot of different people out. We do a lot of charity events and a lot of different things out there.
Do whatever we can do to help, you know, knowing that, you know, it's only the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know,
it's what it is. So
before I want to get off this live, I do want to let everybody know, all of you guys that did support us throughout the years, all the way up until today, and have given us your loyalty and have been by our side through the tough times. I want to say thank you. And I want to tell you I love you guys.
It doesn't go unrecognized.
No, of course not.
We see everything. Like I said, we see social media. We see all of that support. We hear our personal comments and stuff. I know Louis Scramizzi was on here today.
Yeah.
We got to talk to him today. We've known him a long time, and he's seen us through a lot of different things. And some people have seen us a long time, and they know what we went through to get you this point. And some people don't. They just really don't, and they see what they want to see and stuff like that, and then make the judges or stereotypes. Just the way we look. Like, I even seen some of the ads, like, just some of the stupid comments people make, but it is what it is. I understand that.
I'll let him handle the stupid ads, because I'll tell you, the stupid comments, if I was coming across
Frank Milazzo was the finance guy.
Oh my God, that's him!
So
that's
Frank Milazzo, he was on there
him.
1 minute ago. He just commented. I still remember back when I was a finance guy. We drove like an hour and a half.
You're not lying.
Like Punta Gorda area and stuff like that. I'm literally sitting in, because Frank was a finance manager. I'm sitting there in his office like, normally people wouldn't do this with this Hummer and this amount of mileage and stuff like that.
Oh, but he's on here.
It's just really crazy.
Oh, we love you, Frank.
So that's just what it is.
Cool. That's cool.
So it's crazy. It's really cool to see Frank. Frank has seen us. He's seen us grow, and I think, and he's been around for a long time. I think 7-8 years for sure. Frank's been along. So, it's really cool you chimed in at this point, too. What's going on, Amanda? True Chef official page. Definitely got to let the grow for us, dude.
I want some steak.
That's another guy supports us. We see it through the posts, all that. Strength Addicts, Christian, what's going on? So, thank you guys for all tuning in. We got 2 minutes left. There was a couple questions out here real quick. One was Jay, and he asked us about his glutathione. So if you're taking glutathione, guys, I talked about
don't inject
this
it
before.
cold.
So that's one of the therapies that needs to be injected right intramuscularly, but it has to be refrigerated. That's one of the only therapies. There's a couple more, but that's one of the ones that do. So when you take it out, draw it up, let it sit there, for like a couple minutes with the cap on. At that point, it's going to warm up a little bit, and then you're going to inject it. It still might have a little bit of a sting, but it should go away pretty quick. If you want to lower that sting rate, and it doesn't hurt like that.
You could probably dilute it a little bit.
But if you dilute it with a Titan Complete or Tighten Up, or like
something.
a B12, it's going to take some of that sting away too.
Let it sit out, please. Not cold.
I inject it every day, so every morning.
I don't like shots, but I'll do it if I have to.
We love you too, Frank. We love all you guys.
So cool he tuned in.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to do this, guys, every week. It's usually going to be 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't go over any therapies. I really had to get some things off my chest.
Yeah. It's good, though. That's what the Soapbox is all about.
Yep.
Healthy lifestyle and getting things off the chest so we can have great mental health, too, as well as physical health.
Mwah.
So I'll see you guys later. I'm John.
I'm Sharisse.
And we're gone, and we'll see you next week for another
Sharisse's
Healthy Lifestyle Soapbox. Later, guys.